Welcome back. With us right now is Susan Kane, and Susan is on the board of Third Mutual. And today we're going to primarily talk about landscape. She's on that committee. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me to be here.
It is wonderful to have you on and to meet you, and because I don't think I had met you before.
No, we haven't met before.
So very
this is
good.
my first time on TV too. So I wanted to talk about Laguna Woods. Now that I've been living here, I come to realize that we really are in a woods. We have 34,000 trees. Can you believe it? And the trees are actually valued at $110 million.
Yes.
More than the city of San Francisco. So we're really fortunate. That kind of works out to a couple of trees per person here.
That's true. Yeah.
In addition, we have like 800 acres of irrigated land. I mean, we're really being responsible stewards of this planet by taking good care of our grasses and our turf.
Right.
But it's a lot of work. 800 irrigated acres breaks out to 650 acres per resident.
Right.
And 150 acres for the golf course. So there's a lot of work to do.
There certainly is. And there's one thing about landscape we all know. It's ongoing maintenance. It keeps growing no matter what you do.
Well, and it's been growing a lot this year with all this rain. Excuse me. Yeah, we actually do mowing right now. We've been mowing weekly. Now we're going to be mowing every 9 days. And we take care of and service 1,000 trees a month. So that's a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
So,
definitely. Now, you had given us some pictures, and we kind of put them up in kind of the order that we got them, so we'll go through these. And the first one here is Shrub Growth.
Yes. That's an example right there of the shrubs. They'd actually just been trimmed. And here we go. We have more shrub growth, and that's something that we're working on. But to be honest, we're 4 months behind in our normal schedule of work. So, and the reason for this, I'd kind of like to explain a little bit.
Please.
Well, obviously, weather being one of the major causes. If you remember back a few months ago, we had so much rain, it was like a rain bomb. And that caused a lot of damage. And so their landscaping crews were dealing with downed trees, with drains that were clogged and flooding in some areas. And so that really was a major setback.
Yeah, and you know, that certainly we were happy about all the rain we got, but when you have years of not getting that much, the ground can't absorb all of that.
That's
and so,
right. So we had a lot of areas there, and it also resulted in a lot of growth. You can see the shrubs like that one, see the yellow on top, that had just been cut about a month before, and there it is, you know, a month later with all that growth. And keeping up with that has been really tough. In fact, the Orange County Fire Department has been concerned about the over lush growth of our area.
That is true.
And many times our crews are out on the western end of the community working with the Orange County Fire Department, actually clearing slopes and trees to prevent the possibility of fire spreading to our community.
Right.
Once again, that's taken up a lot of time and effort.
It does.
And getting to something like clipping your shrubs, kind of when you weigh and balance, you kind of see that maybe protecting our village from fire is a little more important than clipping some branches.
That's true. And you know, we're looking on here also about the grass. And interesting, if you look at the photo of the post, and as I said earlier, that's kikuyu grass, and I have that at my house. I've actually had landscapers come out years ago, and they will say kikuyu grass taproots can go down 20 feet. And I personally have pulled them out almost like a zip line. I've pulled out kikuyu grass where the taproot, I'll pull it out, it's like a rope about 5 feet long. And it'll grow anywhere. And yes, it has worked its way up through that post. That wasn't just put there.
I know.
It's amazing.
It's one of Kurt's favorite, Kurt Rahl, who's department head of landscaping. It's one of his favorite photos because he says it'll grow anywhere.
Yeah, it will.
And anywhere. And so that's part of what's keeping us so busy with keeping the grass trimmed and edged. And we also have been having problems getting staff to help us out. We have some open spots on our landscaping crew because, believe it or not, Orange County has, I'll tell you about that slide in one moment, but Orange County has only a 3% unemployment rate, which is great for the county, but for us to hire people, we're having a hard time.
Right.
So we are looking for additional staff, and we actually have additional positions that will be coming due in next year. And we will hopefully be able to help out for some of these unplanned situations. I also wanted to talk a little bit about some unexpected happenings. Edison at gates 5 and 6 have been doing a lot of digging, and so the beautiful grass has emerged, and then guess what? We have big holes, and Edison makes this huge mess, and we have to take care of dealing with that as well. So some of these slopes, this is an example of one of our neighborhood hills, and they require a lot of work, and a lot of plants are going to be taken out that are not plants that were used in today's environment because they are easily sparked by just an ember falling. So,
and this is what you were talking about with the Orange County Fire Authority, right?
This is actually not, I think this is one of the residential slopes, but it's similar to, yes, it's very similar to that area.
Yeah, you can see the lower right photo there, how, when you get that dense, thick brush and then you go right underneath it, because there's not enough sunlight that gets down to it, it gets dry. And you have to thin those out, and it looks great maybe at the top, but you're right, things can spark a fire very easily.
The reality, the slopes that we're clearing at the western end of town, it's really down to the bare ground. They pulled everything out, and this is per the fire department regulation.
Okay, and we know that even right next to the community, where you have Laguna Canyon, that's always a concern, and the fire authority is out there checking that out as well.
Absolutely, and we're working side by side with them.
Yeah, which is great.
That's taken a lot of men out of the field and workers, but it's such important work, and yes, that's exactly what's going on. And I think we have some slides that are in this presentation. Kurt Rom will be giving a presentation.
Yeah, and when will this be?
It's a PowerPoint presentation. We're hoping he'll do it at our next board meeting, and it'll be televised.
Okay.
He gave one to the landscaping committee where a lot of residents, in fact, over a dozen people were in at the committee meeting and saw the PowerPoint presentation and recognized, hey, well, I know we've had some little problems with weeds, etc., but we definitely do understand that landscaping is working hard for us.
Right.
So, and I can speak to the weeding issue too.
Yeah, please do. Please.
It's because of all the rain, we have more weeds. Well, we've been having equipment problems, and this is related because we actually make our own mulch, and the grinder that makes the mulch is out of service. So we're kind of thin, we are using our mulch reserves kind of, carefully. And so the mulch layer is not as dense and the weeds are growing. So we had scheduled an overtime, and we're continuing to do it on Saturdays where we're doing a lot of garden weeding, and we're doing deadheading of plants, which a lot of residents are concerned about. So that's being taken care of on Saturday in overtime because we've been so busy doing so many other things.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. A thicker layer of mulch not only keeps moisture in, which is great, but it prevents the weeds from growing not quite as quickly. They still will, but it certainly helps quite a bit.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that myself, so I think that's a very important point. So we're about 4 months behind schedule, And I know that doesn't sound good, but hopefully you understand a little bit better why we're doing that. Resident Services has been trained to deal with landscaping issues, and so you can call in and find out from Resident Service where a schedule is and tell them about your concerns. And residents are always invited to our committee meetings where they can speak up and talk to people.
Very good. And we really happy that you made it on today. It's fantastic to meet you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, if I have a minute, I don't
please,
have
yeah.
a clue about timing here. I'd like
take your
to talk
time.
about what's going on in the future in
Okay.
terms of landscaping. For third, there's going to be a modernization effort next year. It's in the budget, and we're beginning to be using a new kind of California scape plants, and they're actually beautiful. I mean, they're aesthetically pleasing and also good for the planet. They're drought resistant and so forth. Our irrigation system is right in place, so Kurt has decided to follow the painting schedule, and the painters will be at gates 5 and 6.
Okay.
And after they're painting, you know, things get a little screwed up with the landscaping. So we will be putting in a whole new landscape concept. And to take a look at it, United's already done it. Gate 1 by the Performing Arts Center. Have you seen it?
Right,
Cul-de-sac 8. It's beautiful, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah, it is. And I know James Tung has been working hard on this for quite a while too.
Yes. And he's also not only chairman of the landscaping committee, but of the water committee. And boy, he watches every
Yes,
drop
he
of
does.
water.
Yeah, usually each meeting he'll have a report of the water uses, the different
Absolutely.
tiers, and
No, you're actually listening.
yeah. He's very diligent at that,
Oh,
and it's great.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he's really good. And I found out, we were talking, because it's the first time I've met Susan, we were chatting a little bit. You've been here 7 years, and you're from back east. You're from Virginia.
Actually, yes, I
Yes.
am.
Did you grow up out there?
I grew up in the Middle Atlantic region. I went to college there and lived most of my adult life there. And so Washington, D.C. is kind of my home. I feel it's my home. I lived in Alexandria, Virginia. And it's a beautiful area too, with lots of trees. And that's why I feel so much at home here in Laguna Woods with
Yes.
all of our lovely trees.
I was telling her that we were out in Williamsburg in April and loved it. It's beautiful. The one thing it was hard to get used to, which you're used to, is driving on the freeways and having trees coming up right to the sides of the roads. You know, here we can look out way ahead and see things, but that was a little unnerving for us because we're not used to it. It's beautiful, but
It is
I kept
beautiful.
thinking, is a deer going to come shooting out of the forest any minute or something?
That's great. That's
Yeah.
funny.
But it's such a beautiful area.
It's so
It really
green,
is.
and that's why when I look out the window in Laguna Woods, I'm surrounded by trees. I feel almost like I'm at home. But it is a gorgeous area, and D.C. is even more beautiful thanks to the effort of Lady Bird Johnson,
Yes.
who did a lot of planting of gorgeous flowers around here.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, it's beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go back to Virginia, if you haven't been there, there's a lot to see. We could go back and easily spend another week. And we didn't get a chance to go to Fredericksburg or Mount Vernon or Manassas and all that, but I'd love to go to those places.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
it's great.
It's great.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure,
Thank you so much.
and I'm sure we'll see you on again sometime in the future.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we'll be right back. Yeah, it was.